We are so back. Meaning we are back in the swing of things with this pre-gym car talk. Sorry that I haven't been, in the flow of things as far as doing these pre-gym car talks. Basically just got to make the most of my time when I'm at these schools. But anyways, we are headed for good old-fashioned back day on a pretty rainy day. I mean, this is when I freaking love to get into it. It's on these rainy days because it really tests you. It's like, are you just gonna chill at home, or are you gonna go train? And of course we're gonna go train. I mean, it's just like with the meditations, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So we got a big old back day coming up, and honestly, I'm feeling pretty freaking extra motivated after the Olympia weekend, because I don't know if y'all saw it, but that was freaking awesome. I mean, I would say the highlight for me was just seeing Ramon Dino claim that classic physique Olympia trophy, because after all those years of getting second behind Sibo, he finally does it. He finally, man, I'm just super pumped for him, super psyched. So that being said, man, can't really ask for anything better. Another huge win. Other than Derek Lunsford, congrats, by the way, getting 2-time Mr. Olympia. Another huge win was, oh my God, don't kill me. It's Miss Olympia. She's a 6-time reigning champ, Miss Olympia. And she looks insane. God, this is killing me. I'm blanking on her name, but anyways, congrats to her for winning 6 times consecutively. That's huge. And also, her physique is just bananas. But anyways, we are probably gonna have a huge back day, because the last back day that I was doing, it was good. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm loving, any chance that I can get with these back days, but at certain gyms you just gotta swap a lot of the different exercises. So with this, I'm really hoping that we're gonna have full-blown back day. We're gonna have a ton of equipment available and pretty much all that we need for just a killer back day. And that being said, we are also switching home gyms. As sad as I am to say it, it just wasn't in the cards. It just didn't work out with the other gym. I needed to leave for, mainly it was because of my business. My business has been growing pretty quickly, and I'm really thankful for that. But I was basically working out a deal with this gym where, I'd work for them, and then I'd get free rent as far as training clients there. And so business started to pick up so much so that I couldn't make time for those hours to work. And so that being said, we're moving on. This is a new chapter. We're going to another gym, and might I say, this is going to be a really nice gym. Apparently they have, their cardio room is they have regular cardio machines, like your regular ellipticals, treadmills, Stairmasters, stuff like that. But they also have all of that in the form of a movie theater, which is pretty freaking nuts when you think about it. They keep it pretty well lit so you actually can see what you're doing. But to actually have a movie theater rocking and rolling, man, sign me up. That sounds great. But the real reason why we're there, like I said, we just need a new home gym, and we need a solid gym with barbells, with dumbbells that go up to an adequate amount of weight. There's a lot of stuff. So we're gonna rock out with this home gym, and no better way than to start off with a big old back day, which I would say is, I never want to say I have this muscle group as my favorite, but man, I have really been jiving with back lately. We got to bring back that word, jive. Anyways, it's just something about, man, it's almost like I don't even know what to compare it to, but it's like whatever thing that I need to work on the most, somehow that becomes my favorite thing to do. Like, for instance, like, this has nothing to do with bodybuilding, but with the book that I'm writing, it is such a difficult task because it requires so much creative effort and concentration that it's become my favorite thing to do in the day. Whereas, like doing client work, like programming, anything like that, that used to be my favorite thing to do. But, I mean, that's why it's tricky with favorites, because I still really enjoy doing that, but at the same time, everything comes in seasons. You start to develop a liking for a lot of the things that you want to work on. And so I think that's a pretty good mindset to have going into, I don't know, just different endeavors in life. I mean, you have the things that you enjoy, and then the things that you need to work on so you can enjoy those things you already enjoy, if that makes any sense. Like, for instance, I don't know, you want to do really well in your bodybuilding competition, but you don't enjoy the diet, but you need to work on the diet in order to do really well. And so you start working on the diet, and after a little bit, you start enjoying the process of prepping your meals, of weighing everything out, of actually eating your meals, of timing it just right throughout the day. All these different things you could really start to enjoy doing just from the action of doing it. So I think that's a pretty good thing to carry into any endeavor that you have. And man, I think for today, I mean, this is a very long workaround as far as what I'm really getting to, but I've needed to work on back for I don't even know how long. It's been since I first started competing. That was my biggest thing I needed to bring up. Like my shoulders were there, my arms were there, chest was kind of there, not so much so, but my back was my biggest improvement, has been my biggest improvement that I needed to make over the years. So these back days I hold near and dear to my heart, because it's almost like you're working with like a really, like, let's say you're a teacher, right? And you have this one student who is just misbehaving left and right, doesn't do assignments, acts up in class, just things of that sort, like misbehaving. And then you work with them so much so that you develop this cohesive relationship that benefits the both of you. Like you make sure that they're doing really well in school, and then they can thrive the most that they can. And so throughout that developing of the relationship, you start to like the student just a little bit more, because you're putting so much work into making their success happen. And so it's kind of like that with working on my back. But anyways, that is plickety plan for today. Got really nothing else to add to that, but I think, man, it's interesting. The meditations, they keep me very mentally stable. I mean, just overall, like concentration, staying calm under pressure, creativity, all these great things that just the meditation does wonders. But not every day is going to be exactly the same. And so there are going to be some days, and I'll be completely honest with you, today is one of those days where you just feel a little bit off. Like you feel, like a little more anxious than usual. Like I'm feeling just a little more anxious than usual today, because I'm not even sure why. I mean, it's just one of those things where I feel like, it could come from, like I know I could have done more yesterday in terms of work, Like I just needed to post something. That's all I needed to do. And I never ended up getting around to it. And I mean, I had the chance to, but I chose not to. I chose to just relax, kind of take it easy for the night, and get an early night's rest in. And we got that early night's rest in. We did, and we took it easy. But there was something. I mean, it was just eating away at me. Like, I know I could have done more yesterday, and I think that's where a lot of the anxiety comes from. But either way, I know that no matter what you're going through, it's almost like that whole philosophy of life is happening for you. And I think that's what it's kind of, that anxiety is alluding to. Where it's like, okay, if you choose to take it easy on this day, just know you're going to kind of have this fear, this anxiety that you could have done more. But as long as you're okay with that, go ahead. And so I think life kind of offers you all these different choices that you can make. And then, you get this, what is it called? This string that's attached to it. If you choose to do this, this is what's going to happen. So every choice kind of has that string. And so it's almost like if you choose to do something hard, you'll have the string attached to it that, okay, I mean, if you choose to do this, you're probably going to reap some benefit. You're probably going to have some reward attached to it. So I think the more and more we can just zero in on what our strengths are and what we can do for other people, there is going to be that string attached, that there's going to be some sort of suffering, whether it's, you're going to be more tired, or I don't know, it's, you're not going to have as much time for people you truly care about, whatever it is. I mean, you're going to have some sort of string attached. And so, that being said, what are you willing to sacrifice at the end of the day? Because whatever you're willing to sacrifice, it's totally up to you. It's what kind of life do you want to build? And so I think the tougher a task is going to be, the more of a reward you're going to reap, or the more of a benefit, reward, whatever it is. But that being said, man, it is raining pretty hard, so I'm gonna focus on driving just a little more. But that being said, I don't really have anything to add to that anyway, so I will see y'all in the new gym for big old back day. That's good. Alright, so we've been starting pretty much every lift, well, every other lift, I should say, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, with some sort of, honestly, I'm really enjoying it because it makes sure that, I don't know, calves have a much nicer, fuller look throughout the week, and not only that, it's nice because my calves can take a lot of damage. So, I think that goes for most calves just because, you know, using them for some sort of mobility every day. So if that can actually trigger muscle growth, or if it's, you know, just mechanical tension every other day, and that is a win. That being said, we still got single arm rows after this, but we're just supersetting this with some bat wings. That's pretty much it, but man, these are feeling freaking good. I'm actually challenging myself to almost like hold it at the top for each rep, no matter how minute that hold may be, but still, at least getting somewhat of a hold. It's nice because I can kind of envision like a back double bicep like loading up for it, because when you actually get into it, it's a very similar movement to pretty much any kind of row, so feels good. Just with how you load up for it, because it's tough to get a really good squeeze out of it if you don't have any weight to counteract it. And it's kind of hard to explain other than, you know, in that loading up position, you're generally pretty strong. I mean, just doing any kind of external rotation, you can load up with quite a bit of weight. So that's why we're going particularly heavier on these, as opposed to doing the lighter squeezing sets of all good. Honestly, I'm doing That was a freaking extremely nice back day. And I gotta say, just the fact that I kind of had, a little less in the tank, just carbs wise, really made quite the difference. I was feeling a little lightheaded, not so much from lack of water, just, the carbs. Like, you kind of feel a little more calm, but at the same time, less energy, and makes a lot more sense. But that being said, we crushed that day. And man, I mean, as far as the meditation goes, it's really interesting, because it's almost like when I was in the middle of it, it was like I've had a history of just having quite a bit of anxiety. And so when I was in the middle of the meditation, it's kind of like I was just focusing on planning in general, because my anxiety is really good at that. It is really good at kind of detecting what we can't see, and what we could potentially be getting in trouble with. And so just kind of sitting with it and seeing where my mind went and then redirecting it back with the mantra over and over and over again, it was very eye-opening, and it kind of showed me, man, this is a very stressful way to live. And so, what did we do? We just basically kept going back to the mantra and just had fun with it. We just kind of saw it simmer, because it was almost like I was looking into, a very agitated pond, like a pool of water that just, it's almost like you throw a bunch of rocks in there and there are a ton of waves going on. But then once you keep redirecting your attention to the mantra, your attention stills on whatever you need to still it on. So that it's almost like the pond just settles. But anyways, that wraps up a good old-fashioned back day, and it's kind of interesting. I'll be completely frank with you, like I always am. I gotta be honest. I have, as you all know, I'm not on steroids, but just seeing, all the people that I usually follow, Olympia competitors, Sam Sulik, just random people online that, are obviously taking gear. It's a little disheartening, just because, you put in, or I put in a ton of work, meals all day, training, all that fun stuff. Pretty much I do most of everything of what, the average steroid user does. But the key difference is that I don't use. And so I'm not going to make as much progress. And so I think, man, I got to talk to my coach about it, but I really want to become an IFBB pro. And I don't know if that would be the next step, or if, I just need to stay the course with whatever I'm using already. But that being said, if I do stay the course, it's going to be a much longer journey. We're talking, I'll probably be in my 30s by the time I get to IFBB pro status. And so, it's just something to think about, just something to ponder. But that's just kind of been on my mind a lot lately, is whether to go down that route or not, because I see a lot of my friends who are both competitors and coaches, and they're progressing very, very quickly, solely because of the fact that they use and I don't. And I don't know if it's just because of that, but man, if I'm staying on my meals with the training, it's most likely that's the case. So, man, I don't know. The just kind of been on my mind lately. But anyways, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what would y'all like to see. And I know it's a decision that ultimately comes down to me and what I'm doing, but at the end of the day, I also need to ask myself, what am I doing this for? Am I doing it for, vanity's sake? Or am I doing it because bodybuilding is truly my passion? So that's kind of a question I've had for quite some time now. So I don't know. But anyways, we have a big old arm day tomorrow. We might or might not be hitting the arm day, in the gym at the school. Not too sure yet. So we'll have to see once we get there. But anyways, thanks for joining, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow for some big old arms.